Well, I bet you didn't expect to see me back here so soon. I know I certainly didn't. But I'm afraid I come to you on behalf of a very pressing matter. So, yesterday, Wednesday, the 15th of November, my writer friend Joseph Logsdon posted a video that disturbed me some. And basically, the whole timber of that video was that he was very dissatisfied with the way that YouTube and whatnot was treating him. And basically, he gave indications that he might not continue with this whole thing. Now, Mr. Logsdon and I have been close friends for about a year now. And he really seems to get right into the gristle and bones, to use an Ahabism. I wonder if he remembers that from the very first video I saw of him, the Dean Koontz video, of the whole writing process, particularly self-published writing. And the reason why I made this video is because, well, he's sort of resigned himself to a fate that basically he has no hope whatever in traditional publishing. I myself have a modicum of it, actually quite a considerable sum of hope indeed, but I can completely understand where he's coming from. But nevertheless, he sort of saw this as basically a slight to, I suppose, his income, because really this is, I suppose, his only form of promotion outside of TikTok, which I don't know that much about. And so basically he decided just to potentially give it up. Let me tell you, the number of people that I've seen go because of some or another thing with YouTube is staggering. In fact, the late, great Reemsy, whom is, as far as I'm concerned now, still late, because he recently disclosed that he has no plans of putting his old videos back up, and he pretty much deleted most of them, and he said there's no point in watching them, which basically lowered him in my esteem just a little bit. He had problems with not even his own channel, but the fact that something or other happened with someone else on here. I don't even remember the fella's name, but nevertheless, he took very serious umbrage to that and had vowed not to post on YouTube and was a bit too liberal with the delete button. Another user on here whom I used to watch rather avidly for about 4 or 5 years, Rambo Ref for Life, a movie reviewer with a vile temper, but who is very hilarious, was much too liberal, as I said, with this delete button because of a scare from a new law change that had undergone, that had come into fruition basically in late 2019. I still can't watch his channel because, well, I could go on for an hour as to why it is that I can no longer watch him, but nevertheless. So there are plenty of people, and also one of my real life friends, you may have heard of him before, Maria Brothers 2488. I think mainly he quit just because, well, obviously, you know, I was running quite a lot of the production at the time, and he sort of found that I was basically the main source of inspiration for everything, and that it was no longer his enterprise. So I think he basically just folded up shop. So there's quite a number of YouTubers on here whom I had loved and respected who fell to this fate of just not caring a whit for the site at all. I myself am one of those people who don't necessarily get too much involved with the whole broader spectrum of the whole website. I just do what I think is right and just not really bother myself about it. I don't even look at the emails because I don't have the time nor the interest to do so. And but this video really upset me. And it got me thinking, am I going to lose this pal of mine to just this, I suppose, aggravation that he has developed over whatever is concerning him at the moment? And so I figured I may as well cheer him up and perhaps maybe influence his decision. I necessarily can't decide what he does. It's completely up to him. But perhaps maybe this may influence him to continue going. And I'll even leave a link down in the description for his channel to where you could subscribe to him and support him. I think he would really very much appreciate it. But I figured what I'd do is, he is an author, a self-published author, but still an author. And he has published, 6 books over the past 7 or 8 years. And I figured I may as well give him a bit of promotion. That you may be able to check out his titles and basically, I suppose, gladden his disposition. And here's all the books here. This first one is a collection of short stories, Dark Tales of Mystery and Crime, and I'll give my thoughts on these in another video at a later date. And these could all be found, I think most of them, on Kindle as well as in paperback on Amazon, and I will leave links to where you could find all these books down below. This is his short stories. The next one here is called The Rains of Godwin Valley, and it's something of a Western from what I understand. The next one is Empty Sounds of the Wind, which is a noirish type of story in many respects. And you can read these very quickly. They're all very short and such, so it shouldn't take you that long to get through. The next one we have is Symphony of Perdition, which, yes, that's a title. It is most certainly an interesting title. Is sort of he describes it as a melodramatic tragedy. And there's that. We also have here Mournful Wanderer, which is basically his ode to the Gothic ghost story genre. And I think this is one of his personal favorites as well. And then finally, I suppose you'd call this his magnum opus, even though he's working currently on the Ecstasy and the Ignominy. We have Silent Reckoning, which is basically sort of a Great Gatsby kind of a tale, set on the very cusp of the 1920s, just before the Depression. And very interesting. So, those are all of my friend Joseph Logsdon's books. I recommend highly that you support him in whatever way you can. And maybe, just maybe, we could get him back on here and perhaps encourage him to keep doing what he's doing. Because really, he seems to be the only channel on here who I like very much that goes into a lot of the details about writing itself. He had a whole series called The Cynical Writer, which I believe is discontinued now. I hope it'll sometime or other see a revival, but nevertheless, it'd be a shame to see him go. And it would mean everything in the world to me if you would go and support his channel, buy all of his books, or one of his books, or 2, or just any of his books. It really doesn't matter, just so long as you can see it in your heart to basically support this dear friend of mine. And I just dropped my Charles Dickens. I hope I didn't ruin that. No, I didn't. And perhaps maybe we'll see him back on the scene here soon. Of course, Joseph, I cannot control your actions at all. It's totally up to you, but I highly encourage you to maybe stay here on YouTube a while.